The only way to be able to figure out that there were two walls is by doing an archaeological dig. And to my knowledge, the people in the 9th century before the Common Era did not have the tools or the knowledge to make archaeological digs. On top of that, they described the destruction as total, that the city was completely burned. And not only was it completely burned, they were not allowed to take any of the artifacts. Only the metal, the coin, the precious metal was to be brought into the treasuries of God, but not privately. It was to be no private looting. In fact, the one looter, Achan, was punished and caused death and destruction among the people of Israel. So now you understand why the entire city was burned. Not only was the city burnt, all of its storehouses were burnt. Now, one of the reasons why Hitler lost World War II, Hitler, Yimach Shmoi, may his name be erased, is because he extended, and Napoleon too, is because they went too far beyond their supply lines. They couldn't get supplies fast enough to be able to maintain their armies. And the Russians had a scorched earth policy which did not allow them to utilize their storage areas. So when you find materials that you can use for your army, you don't destroy them. Remember, it says in the prophet that when the people of Israel came, it was Passover time, and they began to eat from the harvest of the land. They actually took the grain of the land and used it for bread. Now, how much bread do you need for an entire nation? A lot. How much bread do you need for your army? A lot. Here they come to Jericho, and they burn everything, including storehouses filled with grain. It had been after the harvest time. The jars were filled to the gills with grain, and they get burnt. Why would you do that? Grain is important. You could sell it, but besides selling it, you've got an army to feed. You've got people to feed. Why would you destroy the stores of grain? Prophet says, because the city was supposed to be totally obliterated and destroyed. You're supposed to have no benefit from it, including the grain. Another point, it says that you were supposed to go up into the city, and the walls were supposed to fall down. And the walls were supposed to fall down in place. And the question is, if the walls fell down in place, there is an embankment that's at least 15 to 20 feet high. They can't get over that embankment. And on top of that, there's an area that's very, very slippery. It's hard to get on top, get into the upper area of the city. And so you know what happened? What happened was the archaeologists discovered that the walls came tumbling down, and these walls created a ramp to go over that 15, 20-foot embankment. So they were able to, as soon as the walls collapsed, they were able to walk on the stones to go up into the top of the city. It says they will go up into the city. It doesn't say they will go into the city, because they had to go up about 60 or so feet into the area, or 70 feet into the area where now the walls had come down from. In both, there were two walls there, remember? They all fell down, and that created the ramp, the ability to get up into the area. Now, the second set of walls, you could say, well, there was just an embankment. They could get up the embankment. No, the embankment was very steep. So by having the stones, they were able to go from stone to stone and walk up to the embankment. That created rough areas so that they wouldn't fall down. And so, the way in which the prophet describes every single part of it, of the way in which this happened, those are exactly as described by the prophet. In fact, we are told that Rachav,